Welcome back to the AI Daily Business Brief. I'm Paul Knox. We make the complex simple, one story at a time. We start with a fifth grade explanation of relevant topics, then the news. Today's deep dive is the AI energy crisis and moves you can make immediately. Welcome to the Explain It Like a Fifth Grader segment. This is your tech prep before the headlines. We pick one topic that powers today's AI world. We make it simple, visual, and practical. 60 seconds, then you're ready for the news. Deepfakes in depth. Here we go. The fifth grade version, it's a copycat clip a smart computer draws, making somebody appear to say something that they did not say. Picture a sticker book, you peel a face sticker to place another body, and then blend the edges with crayons so it looks neutral. You took the head of one sticker and the body of another and blended them together to create an artificial picture. Deepfakes do that at 30 pictures per second. They then layer those pictures. It's not creating a video. It's creating 30 pictures per second and then layering the pictures in order, playing, and that's what you are seeing, and adding an audio layer. VO was the first real audio player in this AI video creation space. How can you spot a deepfake? Trust the source, not the face. Check who posted it, the original dates, and whether it's reputable or it's just another outlet. Scrub slowly for odd blinks. Teeth that look like white slabs. Look for earrings or collars jumping without authentic movement, those really small fragments of the images or the video. The shadows not matching, skin seeming a little bit too smooth, especially when the head turns or there's body movement. Listen for a room tone that never changes, a specific tone throughout the video that never changes, and breaths that do not match mouth movement, one of the bigger tells as of today. Rule of thumb, if a clip triggers a big emotion, verify before you share, one credible source or two independent. When in doubt, call it unverified and move on. Deep dive on the AI energy crisis. Here we go. Power hunger and nuclear energy shows massive modern AI needs. Training and running models means thousands of GPUs pulling power and dumping heat. Operators chase stable, round-the-clock energy. Imagine a school full of space heaters. If too many run at once, the lights flicker and a breaker pops. A city of refrigerators turning on all at the same time after an outage. Grids dislike big jolts. That is why data centers add add-on substations, battery rooms, and sometimes even talk about nuclear options. It is steady, predictable, and it runs all day without weather swings. If you produce a product or your job relies on AI uptime, ask vendors two questions. What's the backup? Is it diesel battery or another plant? Where does extra power come from for the next year? For model improvements? What happens when usage doubles? Watch for clues like interconnect queues, transformer delays, local permits. Rule of thumb, redundancy in power equals reliability in service. Two diverse feeds beat one giant engine because we're diversifying power, increasingly important. If a provider cannot show a tested failover and a 12-month capacity plan, expect slowdowns or limits when demand surge. The third and most impactful news scratch that. Third, we have the AI that mistook a Doritos bag for a gun. If you follow my content, then you've heard this story before. I want to dive a little bit deeper into what's actually happened. Object detection AI takes a picture, breaks that picture into pixels. Every image on my screen is essentially a combination of ones and zeros. Each pixel on that screen, what color to show. Let's say 000 is red, 111 is yellow, and 3333 is green. Now, I'm not a computer scientist. If you are, please don't judge me for not using a better example, but this is how we can understand how my computer is producing the color green or blue, or it's producing this image. It's three colors defined by ones and zeros, and my screen is displaying ones and zeros. Some are converted to blue, some to yellow. The core message is my screen is not magically displaying this video. It is a set of numbers that translate into the images compiled. And that's important when we start to understand how AI is going to affect object detection. So what's it actually doing? It breaks it into pixels and assigns probability, like this chunk looks 82% like a hand, or this chunk looks 72% like a knife. It is a fast guesser, not a certain judge. The computer is playing I Spy, and sometimes the guess is wrong. Low lights, weird angles, shiny packages, or busy background can push it to a very confident mistake. If you think about a coat on a chair in the dark room to a person, this might look much different than if you flip on a light. Same with the AI, except the AI doesn't have enough information to differ contexts. A coat on a chair in the dark looks like a person until you flip on the light. Vision AI does that at machine speed. The rule is never escalate from a single camera, plus AI alert in sensitive settings like schools require one of 3 checks before action: human review, a second camera angle, or a different sensor, such as a metal detector. Companies should really be tracking false positives per 1,000 detections, so we could set some type of threshold. This way, if rates spike, we can pause the model, fall back to alternatives, and check manual behaviors for public impact. Keep a feedback loop. Every confirmed error becomes new training data. Post clear signage about human verification so staff know alerts assist, not orders.
The daily news segment with the AI Business Daily Brief Show.
Here's today's news. Royal deepfakes are everywhere. Viral clips show late royals like Princess Diana doing things that never happened, from serving street food to stepping into a wrestling ring. A computer draws a pretend video that looks real. Celebrity and political stories just get messier. A family group chat starts an argue over a fake that feels true, separates relationships. What's it actually doing? It's generating pixels, which form an image. It combines 30 images per second to generate what seems like a video. Now, the celebrities and political stories from these videos are getting messier and messier, and family group chats will argue over fakes that feel true. Published October 27, 2027, the 91 million view parent watches a parrot cake get sliced clip is AI. The kitchen background smears, the physics go weird, a cake slice floats in a way that real icing never does. It is a cartoon pretending to be a video. In fact, your feed will keep mixing fakes with real life. The safest move is to ask who posted it, why, and when. The story ran on October 27th, covered by people.com. Cameo is suing OpenAI for calling Sora's celebrity-style video avatars cameos. The claim: trademark confusion and brand dilution. 2 people named their thing the same, and one says, "That is my name." Impact: as AI apps borrow everyday words, expect more and more naming fights that decide how these features get marketed. Filed and reported, Amazon is cutting 14,000 corporate jobs. The company is reallocating resources as AI reshapes work. Big tech orgs charts flattening AI projects, get headcount and larger budgets. Microsoft and OpenAI recut their deal. OpenAI shifts to a public benefit structure and talked about a $5 billion valuation. The app that makes chatbots is now one of the most valuable tech companies. This is going to affect control, cache, and compute. Developers and partners will watch for changes like pricing and access. Reported on the 28th by Energy is the new bottleneck. OpenAI told the White House The U.S. needs about 100 gigawatts of new power each year to feed AI growth. At the same time, Google inked a deal to take output from Iowa's 615 megawatt nuclear plant, targeting power delivery by 2029. Long-term power contracts, transmission fights, and a nuclear fight back in the headlines. This is dated October 28th. We created a proprietary AI scraper that runs on these same chips, tokens, and energy that is bottlenecked. Fluctuates from time to time, token price and performance based on the time of day and the volume of traffic going into these different channels like ChatGPT. President Trump will meet with NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang on Wednesday during his Asia trip, also signaling announcements with Korean partners. The leader of the country and the leader of the largest chip company in the country are comparing notes. The experts say that this could have an effect on supply chain, export rules, and where some supercomputers are able to be built. A federal judge let core parts of U.S. authors' claim proceed against OpenAI, ejecting an early dismissal bid. The 5th grade version, writers say robots learned from their books without asking. The judge said, "We will hear them out." Training data, rules, and model outputs could face new limits. Qualcomm joined the AI data center race with new AI 200/AI 250. Hardware focused on cheaper, efficient inference at a rack scale, with a first 200 megawatt customer lined up for 2026. This is a new team showing up to make chatbots run faster and use less power. The more competition that comes into this space, the better. On cost per answer is going to lower, which could lower prices for AI in general and new features inside these applications. Coverage dated October 27th. On outages, initial modeling pegs insured losses from October 20th's AWS incident from tens of millions up to $581 million, with most losses likely lower given the short duration. A big cloud had a major hiccup. Some companies lost money. Insurers are counting. There's a renewed scrutiny of single cloud dependency, and status page alerts are being baked into contracts, errors, and being able to tell the status of a system. Is it up? Is it down? If my product or team relies on your service. If I make this deal with you to have 100 employees using your system, what deal can you make to ensure we have first access to at least have visibility to see, is your system up?
Let's talk the future of AI.
AI just ran into a harder wall than chips, electricity. OpenAI told the White House the U.S. needs 100 gigawatts of new power this year to keep AI growing. On the same news cycle, Google agreed to buy power from Iowa's Duane Arnold nuclear plant if it restarts, a 615 megawatt source targeted for early 2029. Whoever locks steady power wins the next decade of computing. If power is abundant and predictable, latency and cost fall. This is not abstract. It decides which clouds launch new models, which towns land data centers, where jobs go, and which companies roll out the next wave of AI features. OpenAI calls electricity a strategic asset, and these are the stakes. Picture your town plugging into lots of space heaters. The lights dim because the plug is too small. The fix is a bigger plug, some batteries, and a generator that runs all day. Nuclear can be that always-on generator. AI is asking for more plugs and steadier power so the lights stop flickering. AI needs more. What changed here? It's really about scale and timing. The demand curve jumped and the power deals now look like long-term contracts. The scoreboard, it's being measured in megawatts. It's being measured in interconnect dates, not just GPUs anymore. GPUs are chips, so we're not just measuring computing power based on chips. Today's headline is the pivot point. We will follow the power to see where AI grows, goes, and flows next. Picture Washington, October 28th. OpenAI walks in the front door and they say quite loudly, "We need to keep AI growing. The US needs us to keep AI growing. And to do so, we need 100 gigawatts of new electricity every year." It translates into whether your favorite AI tool is fast and cheap or slow and expensive and capped. Data center dynamics, utility drive, all of these things. Now let's fly to Iowa a day earlier. NextEra and Google sign a 25-year pact to bring the Duane Arnold nuclear plant back from retirement and aim it at Google's data centers. 615 megawatts. The target is early 2029. That is a company betting always on power will decide who wins the next decade of computing. Data centers are already taking a meaningful slice of U.S. electricity. Forecasts say that share climbs by the end of this decade. If the grid cannot keep up, you'll feel slower apps, usage limit caps. As we saw with the outage, we'll see that across AI technology and higher prices. If it does, the opposite happens, right? If we get these features in place, give our AI plugins the source for electricity and energy, we're going to see faster features, steadier bills. We're going to start to see less downtime in jobs where these plants and substations are getting built. China added hundreds of gigawatts this year, while the US added a fraction. If we drag our feet, breakthroughs go to other countries. The happy version is simple: lock firm power, modernize the grid, and get reliable AI, new industrial projects, and localize hiring. Take Duane Arnold's restart alone, set to bring hundreds of permanent roles. Imagine your whole town plugging into a large space heater again, right? So we have the lights dim because the plug is too small, and now we're starting to get a bigger plug in the nuclear power center. The headline today is not just a tech story. It is a power story. It's about where the lights stay bright and where they flicker. A new data center picks a cornfield on the edge of town, and the choice flips up. Surveyors mark substation sites, pour pads for transformers, garages increase, high voltage lines. On hot days, the hum sounds like a beehive. You can feel this city from what was a cornfield start to be built with nothing around it. Inside the building, there's thousands of GPU racks looking like a Star Wars movie on a jet plane, and they're sitting idle. All that energy created causes heat, and that heat needs cooling. Chillers and water loops kick in. The load pulls through cables under your street. Streetlights blink when testing starts. The county board meets. The fire chief asks about backup power. The neighbors ask about water. Contractors line up for shifts that last all night. This is the digital manufacturing. No smoke, real payroll. The town changes its rhythms. Energy is the new trade line. Chips follow cheap. Steady electrons. Asia builds fast. The United States builds but fights its own traffic with permits, interconnect queues, and grid bottlenecks. A governor signs a power credit. A utility signs a long contract. A cloud signs a campus deal with a battery yard. The scoreboard is boring, but it's decisive. It's decided in megawatts delivered, hours per year, cost per kilowatt. The winners can promise developers two things. Your model's going to train on time. Your app will stay online during peak hours. That promise pulls suppliers, payrolls, and research like iron to a magnet. That is the global race. Now, let's bring it home. Your life rides on these same wires. AI, the apps you use, an EV charging station in the garage, a heat pump running at the dinner table. All of it shares the same plug with the data center down the road. When supply is tight, prices tick up. When supply is firm, the opposite happens. Video calls hold, chatbots answer faster, bills stay predictable. Your city debates where to put the new lines and which neighbors to get upgrades first. The conversation sounds local, but it's really about your time. Waiting for a result is 10 minutes, not selling, fixing, or resetting. Reliable power is not a headline. It is a comfort at home and speed at work. Now let's look at two different futures. In the first, firms lock long-term contracts, add storage, and restart firm generation. Data centers sit beside wind and solar, not against them. The grid gets thicker, outages shrink, new jobs stick. Your tools feels instant. You're getting answers in seconds. Permits don't stall. Now let's go to the second vision, which starts with permits. We see permits stall and projects die in queue, and compute chases foreign power rather than our internal power, and apps limit spread just like rolling blackouts. Prices rise, you ration the new features you want. We do not guess which way the industry leans. We define it. The companies with power will play and win. The companies who ship are the companies with power. Everyone else waits. This is the simplest line to remember from this episode. The next breakthrough is not a smarter model. It is a reliable megawatt pointed at it. This is the map for where we need to go. The first is megawatts and interconnect dates. Expect more nuclear adjacent deals, hybrid site pairing with wind and solar storage plants, and utility offerings, data center tariffs that bundle reliability. Google's next era. There is a 25-year PPA targeting Q1 2029. This is the template. Others will follow. On chips, watch whether NVIDIA's Asia talks translate into concrete capacity or local build commitments. Expect new supercomputing sites to cluster near those power-secure region. This comes from Rusters. That is all for today's show. Subscribe for more at the AI Daily BusinessBrief.com. For the 5-minute daily executive cut, you can get 3 can't miss stories each day. Follow me on X to be the first to know. I post news as it happens. For one place with everything, subscribe to our newsletter, the AI Daily BusinessBrief.com. I'm Paul Knox. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.